Talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Why are New Year's resolutions always about getting to the gym more or dieting? We fail ourselves before the first month of the year is already over. Why not resolve to eat better, tastier foods in 2024? Look no further than Fuhrer's cheese spread. Stop eating your apples, vegetables, crackers, and chips plain. Give them some flavor. Fuhrer's cheese spread awakens your taste buds. Now that's how you start a new year. Find your container of Fuhrer's cheese spread today at your local grocery store.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Against Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Against Sports at 48th and Vine.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Old School with DP and J.
DPGM. What are you going to do to Caleb Williams? What are you going to do? You going to draft him?
No.
You're not going to draft him?
No, I don't. Here's my thing. I don't want anybody going. I'm not going to bring poison into my program because that's what it would be. He's letting you know he's poison. He's venom. Why would I put poison in my own soup?
Maybe you think you're a mongoose. You can't.
I have zero.
You're a mongoose. You can take the cobra venom.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's fishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton. at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella. Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator. Buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
This is Adam Carriker on the ticket.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and The Ticket FM. Your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, into Adam Carriker on The Ticket on this fine Friday. It feels almost like a heat wave out there. It feels like it's 80. It's not, but it's like a heat wave compared to what we have had. Hope everyone has had a great week so far, heading into what is hopefully a phenomenal weekend as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we have a loaded show for you. Before we dive into that, we want to give a shout out, all right, to our sponsors. All right, show them some love. GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, great accents for any backyard landscaping project. They sell to homeowners and contractors near or far, and they deliver anywhere. All right, stop by. It's 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Check out GELandscapeSupply.com or call 402-467-1627. All right, as always, got a great show, got a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, it's interesting with J.J. McCarthy, all right, deciding to go pro, all right, entering the NFL draft this year. It was interesting to me for multiple reasons. Now, Harbaugh, I think most people expect him to leave. It's not a done deal. Nobody knows for sure. But he is, that I know of, he's interviewed for a couple of jobs, okay? He is interviewed for the Chargers, the Falcons, okay? And so there's obvious interest on both sides out there. From him, obviously we knew there'd be interest from NFL teams for obvious reasons. The man had just won a national championship. He built up Michigan into a power. He's had success in the NFL before with the 49ers. They were god-awful. Then within a couple, 3 years, with not an entirely different roster, I might add, they were just a player or two away from winning the Super Bowl, beating his own brother in the Super Bowl. By the way, John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl championship. Jim Harbaugh won a national championship. Jack Harbaugh, all right, if you didn't know, their dad won an FCS national championship, okay, and has won a bunch of other games as well. He actually came out of retirement to help Jim coach at Michigan. All right. So with Jim probably being gone, nobody knows for sure. Maybe he comes back. I mean, my God, talk about first world problems here. And He created these first world problems by having success in the NFL and creating options for himself. He created first world problems, by having uber success in Michigan. So, he has, whether you like him or not, whether you like the khakis or not, whether you like Coach Harbaugh or not, it doesn't really matter. The man has made his own first world problem, so there is no bad decision. There is no bad choice for him. All right, and he's earned that right. So kudos to him. As not fun as that might be for some Husker fans out there to hear. But coming back to J.J. McCarthy, I was surprised that, you come back to Michigan, you're going to have a really good team. You look at this draft this year with the quarterbacks. It's one of the more loaded quarterback drafts I've seen in quite a while. 5 legit guys ahead of him. He comes out, he declares early for the draft, and he might not go first round. He could have made a lot of money had he come back and played well and proved what he could do. Everyone can see his physical talents, abilities, skills. There's a reason he was a 5-star coming out of high school. He hasn't had to do anything. He hasn't had to prove anything. Okay, no fault of his own. Great run game, great defense. Okay, cupcake schedule this year until about the last month or so of the season. But you got guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, who's not talked about enough, by the way, Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, Michael Penix, who set the world on fire against Texas. Nobody played well against Michigan from a quarterback perspective this year. Bo Nix, who just completed his 489th college football season. Then you got J.J. McCarthy, comes out as he's projected to be the 6th quarterback taken. Now, by the way, if I'm an NFL team and I'm in the first round and I've got a pick towards the top of the first round of the NFL draft and I need a quarterback, I could not be more excited about this particular year. So J.J. McCarthy, choosing to go to the NFL draft. He's just a hard guy to assess, as we've chatted about here on this show and other shows that I do as well. The talent is there, the ability is there. Nobody questions any of that. It's how do you evaluate him based on what he's been asked or not even asked to do to this point. All right. When you look at Harbaugh, and I wish him nothing but the best. Okay, and he's as intriguing a guy in this NFL draft as anybody to me. Where does he go? What do people think of him? All right, and then what happens once he gets to the NFL? Because he's got that talent, ability, unproven, to a point anyways, based on what he's been asked or not asked to do in his college career. And how does that all play out? He's going to be a very intriguing guy for me to watch personally going forward. All right, you look at Jim Harbaugh, as I mentioned, interviewed by the Chargers, the Falcons that I know of. Mike Vrabel, the former Titans coach, also interviewed by the Chargers. Okay, now best fits for Harbaugh, personally, I don't know, the Chargers, if you're going to go to the NFL. It's not many NFL jobs that you're going to take. Usually NFL teams aren't very good. That's why they get rid of their coach. That's why they need a new coach. Okay. So it's not very often you walk into a situation with a pretty good quarterback like Justin Herbert. Okay, and you've got Austin Eckler at running back. You got Keenan Allen at wide receiver. You've got Bosa rushing the quarterback on the other side of the ball on defense. This is a team that's been in the playoffs, not this year, but an awful lot lately. That's a pretty good situation. Plus, I almost said San Diego, California is not a bad place to live, but they're not in San Diego anymore. So never mind. I don't think I'd ever want to live in LA. San Diego would be a little more appealing if I was going to take an NFL job, so to speak. But the other job that actually I think is a little underrated, and with Dan Snyder no longer being the owner there, that guy wanted to win so bad. Every time I interacted with him, every time I was around him, it's like his heart was going to beat out of his chest. He wanted to win so bad. I got nothing but love, respect, and kind things to say about Mr. Snyder. Signed my paychecks for a few years, took care of me, and I appreciate that. The only thing I'll say is it's like he couldn't get out of his own way. He wanted to win so bad, he couldn't get out of his own way. So with a new owner there, you've got new opportunities. Okay? So that makes that job a little bit more appealing. But you look at what they've got with the Commanders, they're really lacking one major thing. Because they've got a solid D-line. They've got a solid defense, good ground game. They got a receiver in Terry McLaurin, 4 straight 1,000 receiving yard seasons. Okay? They just went 4-13, so obviously not a lot of success this past year. Number 2 pick in the draft. But there's a lot of tools to build with. There's new opportunities there. And the biggest thing they need is a quarterback, by far. Well, you look at the guys you could get with the number 2 pick. Maybe Caleb Williams, maybe Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Okay, those 3 guys, all 3 of those guys could be franchise quarterbacks. Right? Not saying Michael Penix can't, because he obviously can. Bo Nix, JJ as well. There's 6 guys that are potential franchise quarterbacks in the NFL. There's 3 that I get particularly excited about personally. Caleb Williams, Drake May, the North Carolina quarterback, who because he played for North Carolina has flown under the radar, so to speak, and Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner. You're going to get one of those 3. So those are just my quick thoughts on J.J. McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh. Okay, you look at, it's crazy what's going on with Alabama. Just looking at college football in general right now, okay? And I should mention I'm going to be bringing on Nebraska wrestling coach Mark Manning at 12:30. I got a bunch of questions for him. We got the People's segment, as we always do at the end of the show. So as always, call or text 402-464-5685. Call or text 402-464-5685. Some of your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts. Otherwise, do you agree with me on JJ? Do you disagree? What about Jim? Would you be happy if he stayed at Michigan? Would you be, because it's better for college football? Do you want to see him get the hell out because, well, Michigan won't be as good without him, and that helps everybody else in the Big Ten? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Call or text 402-464-5685. All right. Alabama hires Caleb DeBoer. I don't know that there was a better hire that they could have made in the country that would have realistically come to them. I know Dan Lanning was talked about as potentially being a coach there, and he's staying at Oregon, obviously. I think DeBoer was about as big of a home run hire as they were going to get. He's won everywhere he's gone. The guy just wins. And I know some people are like, oh, man, is it Brian Kelly going from Notre Dame to LSU and the anti-cultural fit that was/is? Brian Kelly's a good football coach. If they had any sort of a defense last year, I mean, they could have been a team in the conversation for the CFP playoff. Now, he's obviously the coach of a team that doesn't have very good defense, so that's on him as well. But DeBoer going to Alabama, I don't worry about the cultural fit so much as the guy who knows how to win football games, because here's what I know. If you win football games, everybody's going to love you. And all of a sudden, you're the coolest guy on the block. And if you're the coolest guy on the block, but you ain't winning football games, all of a sudden you're the pariah on the outside looking in. It's less about fit and more about winning, and that's what he does. And here's why I bring this up. I mean, my goodness, I'm going to count this. The amount of guys that have transferred out of Alabama just very recently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 23. That's like 11 on offense, 11 on defense. I haven't broken it down, offense and defense. And a sub. I mean, 5-star quarterback Julian Sayin transferring out. 5-star offensive tackle Caden Proctor, who started every game as a true freshman for them last year. All right, and I'm not going to read every name on this list. But basically, Alabama's transfer portal is going crazy. And they're losing what seems to be all of their athletes. It's crazy to me. Now, so these guys are kind of going everywhere. Some of them to Texas, Notre Dame, Pitt, Florida State, Texas, Louisville, Tulane, Tennessee, Florida State, Ohio State, Colorado, Syracuse, South Carolina, right? And a lot of the schools I already mentioned, along with Kentucky and Georgia in there as well. So, man, I've never rooted for Alabama in my life. My dad just raised me not to like the Crimson Tide. I don't know. I mentioned before, Miami Hurricanes, Crimson Tide, New York Yankees. Those were the three teams my dad just raised me not to like. All right. I grew to not like Texas. That just happened. All right. Colorado. It's be a lot more effective if we beat them next year, but they're just that little brother that won't go away. Iowa's a new development, as we all know, but those were the 3 teams. Alabama, New York, okay, Miami Hurricanes. So when it comes to Alabama, I would love nothing more than to see them be a whole lot less successful. That would be awesome to me. But DeBoer is a good coach. And this mass exodus is obviously reason for concern if you're a Crimson Tide fan or if you're just interested in a general sense as a college football fan. But I'm pretty sure Alabama's going to be fine. The way that they have recruited, I know that's a lot of people leaving. Okay. But the way that they have recruited, the coach that they're bringing in, the way that he's probably going to be able to recruit will probably not be the same as Nick Saban, who is the greatest college football recruiter of all time. But it's going to be pretty darn good. So I think Alabama's going to be fine. It's almost astounding when you think about the amount of guys that are leaving. Now, I will say this, okay, because a lot of these guys committed to play for what, in their opinion, is the greatest college football coach of all time, and Nick Saban. And he retired, and so now they're looking elsewhere. The grass is always greener somewhere else, right? If I committed to play for the greatest college football coach of all time, in my opinion, if that was my outlook at Nick Saban, I still think it's Osborne, biased, unobjective, whatever you'd like to call me, that's okay. Maybe I'll do a show on this topic someday. I did one years ago, like I think 2014, so almost a decade ago, and I compared certain things at that point. Maybe I'll have to do one again about a decade later. But if I'm a guy who committed to play for Alabama, and that commit to Alabama believes that Saban was the best coach ever, and then that guy's gone, I can kind of understand. I think it's a bit crazy that so many guys are going, but I can kind of understand how it might be a little surprising, frustrating, whatever the case may be. I just found that a little bit interesting. Now, when it comes to the NFL playoffs, all right, and I may have to give my breakdown and prediction after we talk with Coach Manning of the wrestling team, Coach Mark Manning, who's going to join me here in about 5 minutes. But the playoffs, in large part, have not been very fun to watch. It's pretty much just blowouts. All right, Detroit and LA, the Rams. That was really the only good game. I was surprised how poorly the Eagles played. They were 10-1 with the best record in the NFL after 11 games. And they've lost 6 of their last 7 games, and they just look. What happened? How do you go from looking that good, like potentially the best team in the NFL, to you look like you didn't even belong anywhere near the playoffs just 7 games later? It's mind-boggling to me because if you look at their roster, and I've said it here before, they may have the best overall roster. I'm curious what happened there. How did the drop-off happen so quickly, rapidly, and so drastically? Tampa Bay is a decent team, but they shouldn't be beating any other team in the playoffs, let alone the Eagles, by 3 scores. That was pretty surprising to me, or 2 to 3 scores. So we got the Texans and the Ravens coming up on Saturday. You got the Packers and the Niners coming up on Saturday. Sunday, you got Tampa Bay playing the Lions. Also, and this is the matchup of the weekend for me. I've only gotten one of my NFL playoff picks wrong this weekend, and that was the Eagles and the Bucs. This is really the hardest game I've had a hard time picking the entire NFL playoffs so far. And that is the Chiefs, and that is the Bills, and I've gone back and forth. All right. But you look at the Texans and the Ravens. You know what? We're going to save it for after the commercial break. So we're going to pay some bills. Okay. Go to commercial. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to chat with Mark Manning, Nebraska's wrestling coach, and we'll close out the show with a look ahead to the NFL games this weekend, my predictions, and are we going to have any actual close games? That's what I want to know. I mean, can we have more than one close game this weekend? That would be great. Hey, more playoff games isn't always better. Oh, maybe that's a shot across the bow. Some of my potential thoughts of how the 12-team college football playoff might look down the road. I'm excited for it, but 3 or 4 years from now, after we've had a bunch of blowouts, will our brains be programmed differently than they are right now based on our current expectations? What we've seen 3 to 4 years of an 11-seed Iowa State get blown out by a 6-seed Ohio State? Is it really going to be that exciting? Man, it's a whole nother show I could go into. But I know I opened that door. I will do that topic another day. We're going to pay some bills, chat with Coach Mark Manning, then we'll chat NFL playoffs. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Against Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Against Sports at 48th and Vine.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella. Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator. Buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Make the 2024 deer season your best yet. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo Friday, January 19th through Sunday, January 21st. Check out the hunting seminars, browse the hunting and outdoor exhibits, sign up for the Dylan Blind giveaway, compete in the Big Bucket Monster Shed contest, and try the 3D shoot and more. Buy your tickets at the door. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 19th through 21st at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. 84th and Havelock, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
It's fishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta 5 at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Are you looking for a new spot to relax and unwind? The Post, located on the south side of the Telegraph District on the corner of 20th and N Street, is perfect for a group hangout or a relaxing evening. The Post has plenty of exciting events open to the public, like Whiskey Wednesday and poker tournaments on Sundays. Looking for a spot for a private event? Ask them about their indoor patio. The Post, located at 20th and N Street in Lincoln.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. I hope you're having a glorious Friday lunch hour, start of your afternoon, beginning of your weekend. All right, so we're going to be bringing on Nebraska wrestling coach Mark Manning. I believe he's joining me now. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Adam. Hey, thanks for having us on.
Hey, I want to thank you. Yeah, I want to thank you for joining me. So just for everyone out there, Coach Manning has done a phenomenal job. He's coached 70 All-Americans, 5 national champions, led Nebraska to 12 top 10 NCAA team finishes. He's a 3-time USA Wrestling Freestyle Coach of the Year, Dan Gable Coach of the Year 2009, Big 12 Coach of the Year 2008 and 2009. So, Coach, how is the wrestling season going for you guys so far this year?
It's going well, Adam. It's we have a really good team. We have 3 All-Americans back and a Big Ten champs inside us already. So our season is really it's gone really well. We lost a tough match last Friday night to Iowa. That was a big match for us, and it's just lessons of athletics. You get better and you move on, but we've been undefeated in duels so far up till that time, and we've performed great in tournaments, and so we're in the Big Ten season now. Friday, Sunday, and so we're away. We wrestle Minnesota tonight late. BTN puts 3 duels on now, so they'll do a 5 o'clock duel, a 7 o'clock duel, and a 9 o'clock duel. So we're the late night show tonight. Up here, and then we'll get back to Lincoln tomorrow, and then we wrestle Purdue at home on Sunday at 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check into the Big Ten channel tonight. Check out Support Nebraska Wrestling as they take on Minnesota, the Gophers, and then come check them out at home, 1 p.m. Central Time on Sundays. They take on the Boilermakers of Purdue. So I've always been intrigued by the sport of wrestling in particular, and one of the things that's always been intriguing to me, because you have guys on your roster anywhere from 125 pounds all the way up to 285. What's it like coaching guys that are such different sizes in their various weight classes?
Yeah, Adam, guys have different skills. Some kids are really talented. Down low at 125 and then through the middleweights. But it's a sneaky sport as far as you'll have guys that are tremendous athletes. Lenny Pinto is our 184 pounder. He's a sophomore, young guy, had a really good year last year. Was close to being All-American, and he's kind of a fan favorite, very explosive, very dynamic in his wrestling as far as he's just athletic. People love watching him because he can create a lot of action and there's never a dull moment. But then, at heavyweight, there's guys that are really aggressive. And then some guys are, just sit back. It's a lot probably like football. You have teams that, want to throw it around and want to have, 8 guys in motion all the time. And then some teams are just bread and butter. They're try to pound it down your throat. So it is different. It's a challenge, just getting guys to use the tools they have, and getting them to pull the trigger. Because in our sport, there is no, you can't tap out. You have to keep going. You get taken down or you get in a tough position, you have to work yourself out. So, there's a lot of mental training as far as physical training too, but the mental training, getting guys to recognize and be quick decision makers in tough situations.
So I've noticed there's a lot of variants on the roster, like guys from in-state, but a lot of guys out of state as well on the Husker wrestling roster currently at the moment. What do you look for in recruiting, when you're recruiting somebody? And what is the wrestling like here in the high schools in the great state of Nebraska? Because I I say it all the time, and I think people get tired of it. I always try to value the in-state football players first. Got to be a good football player, but I think it always means more to an in-state kid than maybe someone else, to a degree at least. How do you approach recruiting in general? What do you look for? And then specifically when it comes to high school wrestlers in the state of Nebraska?
Yeah, great question, Adam. You know, get that question asked a lot about, you know, recruiting, and I think it's no different than any other sport. What I look for is, number one, the kid has to love what they're going to do, because, as you know, the hours that you're going to put in, the commitment you're going to make, not only to the program but to your teammates and to your coaches, you have to be an all-in type of guy. So, young man, or you know, who's going to come into our program has to love the sport, and he has to, you know, not love it just because he's a 4-time state champ. He has to love it because he wants to be, you know, hey, I want to maybe make the world team, make Olympic team. You know, in our sport, and as an Olympic sport, there is no NFL, Major League Baseball. That is it. An NBA. You know, to be a world champion, like James Green on my staff now was 6-time world team member, 2-time world medalist. Jordan Burroughs, 7-time world Olympic champion. Those are the guys. They have a bigger. They're not just want to be a national champ for Nebraska. They want more, and they want to be on that world level. They want to be the best in the world, and so, you know, you can't just be the best in your state. You have to be the best in 50 states, because in the Big Ten in wrestling, it's really valued. So everyone puts a lot of money and a lot of effort and a lot of time into the sport of wrestling, and so it's very competitive. So, you know, you have to have guys that are really bought in. So we look for guys. We don't care where they're. You know, Rich Lovett is from Post Falls, Idaho, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just tough as nails, ranked number 1 at 149 for us. And, you know, he's a junior, and he's got another year next year. And, you know, we have, you know, Peyton Robbs from Minnesota. We have guys from all over. Antrell Taylor right now wrestles for Millard. He wrestled for Millard South, was a superstar at Millard South, not only as a wrestler, but as a football player. I think he was second team All-State football player at Millard South, and Antrell is our starting 165 pounder. He's really good, redshirt freshman, and you know, he's growing all the time. Every one of these trips, he's gonna take a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience from it to be able to be his best in 8 weeks when we go to the NCAA tournament. You know, we have Big Tens and then the NCAA tournament, so. It's good. You know, I would say the state of Nebraska, there's a lot of good kids in our state, but there's good kids all over. So it's a lot of competition because we have a roster, you know, cap. So we can't. I'd love to. I'd probably no kidding, on a weekly basis, I probably average 3 to 4 emails from kids from around the country that want to come to Nebraska. It's tough. There's not enough schools out there to offer, or there's just so many wrestlers out there that really want an opportunity to join our team or join any team, you know, in that part. But it's good though. It's good. There's a lot of committed coaches in our state, and there's a lot of committed kids. So, you know, it's just a matter of time before cranking more and more Division I wrestlers out.
So everyone knows by now, Nash Hutmaker's been wrestling with the wrestling team. And my first initial thought when I found out he was going to be losing like 30, 40 pounds to join the wrestling team. So I'm a guy, I was 220 my senior year of high school. At one point, all the way, you know, years later when I was in D.C., I stepped on the scale. One day, I was 320. I spent most of my time there around 307. But then after I retired, I got all the way back down to 220. So I understand, you know, I've rehabbed from 11 surgeries. I've put on weight. I've lost weight. To me, one of the most challenging things other than rehabbing was losing weight. That was more different. And it's also a personal preference. I like to lift and eat, so that stuff's easy for me. So losing weight was challenging for me. So what has that process been like for Nash as he tries to cut weight so he can help you guys out on the wrestling team and join you guys?
Yeah, you know what, Adam, it's great. I think 99% of your viewers, they agree with you. They like to eat too. We all like to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Nash was, that was the biggest dynamic when I talked to Coach Rule. I said, hey, what do you think of Nash? He said, you think he'd like to do it? And I said, well, let's get, I think he could, one, I think he could help us. And two, I think it would help him if he wants to have aspirations to be NFL football player. And I knew he did. And I said, hey, what GM out there wouldn't want a kid that's going to do two sports in the Division I level at a Power 5 conference in the Big Ten? Big Ten wrestling, people know, is elite. And he hasn't wrestled for 4 years, so there's a lot of challenges. And then, weighing 330 and have to make 285 is a big challenge. But Nash, the second he told me he wanted to do it, I mean, he was so committed. And so we just set little different boundaries. Hey, so he joined us December 4th was his first practice. And he wrestled his first match January 6th. And he made the weight. Now he's just maintaining it. He does really well. He probably weighs, 290, 292 or something, and he works out. He makes the weight fairly easy. He's pretty stable, which is amazing from dropping that kind of weight. But he just made a great commitment to our team. He just said, hey, I'm going to do it. And, I'm a guy, I don't half-ass things. So that's kind of a rule on our team. You're all in. You don't half-ass it. You put your whole heart into it. And so, that's how Nash is built. And he's not gonna half-ass it. He's gonna do it. And like in the match against Iowa, just he wrestled so hard, gave great effort. Just made a little mistake at the end, but no big deal. It's only his second match out there, and he's gonna wrestle this Sunday against Purdue. So he's going to get better each and every time out there. But the commitment he made to get his weight down, and I think Coach Rule wants him to play a little lighter next year, so it helps him and it helps everyone. So, I've known a number of guys that played in the NFL that wrestled. Stephen Neal being one, never played college football and played 12 or 13 years with the Patriots and won some Super Bowl rings. He was offensive guard for them, and he's like yourself. He said they made him weigh 310 or something. They want him to play at bigger, and he walks around now at 250, 240. So it is for him to be a big man on the football field. He has to work, gain weight and gain muscle, and then here he has to weigh 285. So, but he looks good and feels good, and he's doing great with it. I'm super surprised. I'm super excited about Nash. So we'll see where this takes him.
So I got a text while you were answering. To be clear, I am not still 220. I am definitely not still 220. I'm down that 270 range a little bit. Just to answer that textual question that I got while you were answering that question, but you actually brought up something else. My first three initial thoughts when I heard about Nash was, this is awesome. Okay, the weight question. And then the other one, you mentioned it. It's been a while since he's wrestled full time. Yeah. Has there been an amount of rust, or how has that process been as he gets acclimated to wrestling full time with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just his eyes are opened. Why? Like the first match, he got a takedown real quick, and then he pinned the guy real quick. Well, the Iowa match was a heater. It was 1-1 late, and so just putting him in those situations more. Nash hasn't wrestled a match since in 4 years, and that was at Class B level in the state of South Dakota. So he's wrestling guys from all over the country, and not just one region, one state, and so it's a big thing for him to be able to get accustomed to and just rise his level up. And it's just mentally, it shows Nash Hotsmaker. We all know he's a tough man, but he's proven it by not only his commitment, but just his adjustment of, it's like, probably from you going from playing in the Big 10 and Big 12 at Nebraska to NFL. It's another jump. It's another level. And Nash has really stepped it up. He does great at practice, and he's loving it.
Awesome. Last two questions for you, Coach, because I'm curious. I watched when Nash got his first win, and there was the crowd was pretty electric, and obviously a bunch of the football players and coaches were there. They were all celebrating. What was that moment like for you and for your team? Okay, and so what was that moment like for you and your team?
Well, our guys were super, super excited for Nash. I think there's just there's a great spirit among Nebraska athletics right now, and I think Coach Rule is a big part of that. And I think when football is going well, everyone else does well. I mean, it's contagious, and just super happy for Nash. Number one, just hey, for one, he made the commitment. He had success right away, and that just got him going. And then people want to continue to follow him, and it's a great journey. It's great, and the number one thing is he really feels part of our team. He's known a lot of our guys for the training table, and that's a big benefit that Tom Osborne had in effect 35 years ago, starting a training table. I mean, there's a lot of dividends there of having a training table where all the sports eat together, and just the respect you get from other sports and teams and individuals, and it's big. It's cool. If you call yourself a family, you got to be one, right? And
for sure.
And that's how we run our program. And we're a family, and so guys that are on my team, and Nash is just part of the family, and our guys were super, super pumped for him.
Very cool. Last question I got for you. So I know there's not per se, you said there's not like an NBA for basketball or, the NFL for football when it comes to wrestling. There is this thing, and I know it's different, called the WWE or pro wrestling, so to speak, and there's differences. We all know what they are. Okay, I'm a WWE fan or a pro wrestling fan. Okay, so my question for you is this. Have you ever coached somebody that you think could cross over, and a lot of it's personality-wise, obviously ability, athleticism, but that could cross over into that type of pro wrestling realm? Have you ever coached anybody that you're like, hey, he could do that one day potentially?
Well, I actually have a freshman on my team right now, and he's a heavyweight. He's a freshman out of Colorado, and he's got the personality for it, Adam. And he's pretty athletic. He's a big boy. He's 300 pounds. He's 295, and he one of Nash's workout partners right now. And so he's probably it. But there's a guy, actually, we're here at Minnesota right now, Gable Stevenson.
Oh yeah, yep.
A few years ago,
yep.
He was a multiple NCAA champ for Minnesota, and he's doing WWE. And I don't know how he's doing with it, but super athletic, super, obviously really an intelligent guy, great at what he does. I know he's had opportunities to go to the NFL, but he feels like he make more money and do that a longer time, WWE. But I know it's wild. You have to be athletic. I mean, those guys are athletic doing that WWE stuff. People, think a lot of things about WWE, but those guys they're entertainers. They're good at what they do.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It takes an athleticism, an ability. There's a skill. I hate it when people call it fake. It's not fake. Let me hit you in the head with a steel chair or throw you off the top of a steel cage. It is predetermined, but there is a difference. As far as Gable Stevenson, he's in WWE's NXT system down in Orlando right now, and so he's kind of learning down there and doing well. I'll tell you what, pro wrestling fans are fickle, man, and they are fickle because initially they're kind of like booing him right out the gate. And it's interesting. It's almost like they're saying, oh, you're really good? Well, you got to earn your way here. It's kind of how it feels to me. But they booed The Rock out the gate. He almost got fired, and it worked out for him. And I'm not saying he's going to be The Rock, but, like, he's not the first guy that's had an initial you got to earn it type reaction from the fans. So I think in the end, he's going to be phenomenal. So I want to thank you for joining me, Coach. Good luck tonight in Minnesota to all the fans. Check out the Nebraska wrestling team on the Big Ten Network tonight, 1 p.m. back home versus Purdue. They are the 6th-ranked wrestling team in the country at this point in time, and good luck the rest of the year, Coach.
Hey, thanks, Adam. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks. Go Huskers.
Absolutely. Go Huskers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Make the 2024 deer season your best yet. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo Friday, January 19th through Sunday, January 21st. Check out the hunting seminars, browse the hunting and outdoor exhibits, sign up for the Dylan Blind giveaway, compete in the Big Bucket Monster Shed contest, and try the 3D shoot and more. Buy your tickets at the door. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 19th through 21st at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. 84th and Havelock, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hope you're having a great day out there. I was just joined by Nebraska wrestling coach Mark Manning. Now, there are people who've sent in questions, and unfortunately, I apologize. I just saw some of these that were meant for Coach Manning. Here's what I will say. Okay, I read them over. Obviously, I cannot answer these. I am not the wrestling coach. But I thought this was an interesting one from Swayze. Kansas, as a bordering state, has no D1, is recruited highly by Nebraska. Many studs from there have come up and been great for the Huskers. Okay, I thought that was a great point. Now, Swayze did have a question. Now, I can answer this based on my experience with football. He said 9 p.m. is a late start, referring to Nebraska's wrestling match tonight. Now, we're going to run over just a little bit with my segment. I'm just going to be honest. I'll throw myself under the bus. Jake's helping today. Rico had a bunch of stuff going on. And so I'm sitting here, and it's like 12:08, and we haven't gone live yet. And Jake texts me. He's like, hey, are you there? It says you're not on. I was like, oh, crap, I forgot to hit this one little button. So we may go over just a little bit, just a smidge in our segment today. I hope that's okay. Otherwise, Jake can just cut me off whenever he feels like it. But when it comes to a late start, I will say this. Personally, I hated night games. And obviously, they've got matches. We had games. But I hated night games because I hated waiting around all day. It drove me freaking bonkers. You get up, you have breakfast, you have meetings, and you go through a walkthrough, and then you have lunch, and then I usually take like a 2-hour nap, and then you eat, and then you wait for 40 more hours, and then you finally get to go play, or in this case, wrestle. I think the biggest thing, okay, is there's a reason you have meetings. There's a reason we had a walkthrough. You're trying to keep focused, okay, while staying relaxed. That's the biggest thing about a late start. All right. Now, Jim Philippi, okay, talked about, we were talking about Gable Stevenson. He just simply responded. He's got several comments in here, but one he said, Kurt Angle did that. And talking about going from obviously winning an Olympic gold medal, going to the WWE, being a champion, headlining WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, guys like that. That's very true. I think it was a different time back then. Wrestling fans have become more and more fickle over the years as they become, and we'll use this term, smart fans. In other words, they know what's going on behind the curtain. In other words, we all know it's predetermined. But I think it's different than it used to be because I think fans were like, Olympic gold medalist. Yes, he was like the first one ever, so they embraced him quickly. Plus, Kurt's really good at not only Olympic-style wrestling, but pro wrestling. I think Gable Stevenson's going to have a great career, but he's not getting that benefit of the doubt. He is so good like Kurt was, but he's not the first, so he's not getting that immediate embrace. And I'm not saying they're rejecting him. I'm just saying there is a few more smattering of boos, and he hasn't done anything to earn it, than I would have initially thought. So he's a guy that I anticipate, as long as he's good enough in pro wrestling, because he's obviously got the athleticism and wrestling background, he'll become a fan favorite before no time. It's just a little bit more challenging now than it used to be. Jim also said, even though it's pre-planned, the hits are often harder than you think. 100% true. Those guys have to be tough. So here's the deal. I used to have a wrestling show, okay, Fourth and Pain, and we interviewed all sorts of wrestlers. I've asked guys like Goldberg, what's tougher, football or wrestling? He said wrestling. He doesn't even like wrestling. He doesn't hate it, but it's a means to an end. He loves football. Roman Reigns, who's been the champ for almost 1,400 days now in WWE, going on 4 years. I asked him the same thing, all SEC D tackle at Georgia Tech. He said, dude, wrestling, because it's year-round. There's no break. There's no off-season. Okay, let's get to some of the other questions, and I will give my NFL picks here for the playoff games this weekend as well. Notorious B.I.B. says, all right, going back to college football here, with that many players leaving, talking about Michigan now, and maybe their head coach, do you see them repeating as Big Ten and national champs again? National champs, probably not, but you never know. Sharon Moore, if Harbaugh stays, it's obviously great. If he doesn't, Sharon Moore is going to step right in. This is a guy who won 6 games as a head coach last year because Harbaugh was suspended 6 games. First 3 and last 3 of the regular season. Won at Penn State with him as a head coach. Beat Ohio State with him as the head coach. Did he per se build the program? No, but he doesn't have to build this program if he becomes the head coach going forward. He just has to maintain it, which he's already done multiple times. I think Michigan would be in the conversation for the Big Ten championship 100%, probably make the college football playoff. Like, they'll probably be a top 10 team. I just think Ohio State's going to be really good next year. They have a lot of guys that are coming. One of the top 2 defenses in the country, they got 8 starters coming back. They've got Emeka Egbuka, who didn't have to, but he's coming back. They've got the Ole Miss running back, who was the top running back in the transfer portal, coming and joining their stud running back. Now they have the most dynamic running backfield in the entire country, and it's not even close with those 2 rotating. Okay? Now, why would they want to play together? Well, a lot of these guys have taken a lot of carries, so it's about being on a successful team, helping yourself in the draft, yet load management. They don't have to carry the ball as many times as they have recently. Okay, great defense, great skill guys. Will Howard at the quarterback position is only going to make them better. No disrespect to Kyle McCord, loaded at running back. The biggest question for them is offensive line. So I'm just saying, I think my early favorites for the Big Ten are Ohio State and actually Oregon. And I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Okay, but I do think Michigan's in the conversation, and they may make the 12-team college football playoff because they'll probably still be a top 10 team either way. All right, Todd Frankie from Auburn. Adam, if you had the number 1 pick in the draft, which quarterback are you taking? So I sit here, all right, sometimes during commercial breaks, other times I'm looking up stuff, getting ready for my next segment, and I have heard the commercial from another show here on the ticket, and I don't know the exact show. It sounds like DP talking to me, and maybe Jake can correct me if I'm wrong as he listens to this, saying he wouldn't take Caleb Williams because he doesn't want to put, I think, poison in his soup is what he said. That's interesting because Caleb Williams physically should be the top overall quarterback taken in this draft. There's some other dynamics I think that come with him. I do think USC's defense was awful. I think the offense was suspect around him, especially on the O-line. He ran for his life. I think there was a time when he was unequivocally the number 1 pick in the draft early on in the last college football season. I think there was a time when he was, at one point in time, favored to win the Heisman again, and then USC fell off, and then he kind of fell off, and I think there was the whole crying thing after the Washington game. Some people didn't like that. I've always liked Caleb Williams' physical attributes. Drake May is under the radar, and Jaden Daniels. Those are my top 3. Now, to me, it's either Drake May or Caleb. Okay, and you can't go wrong with Jaden either. You can go wrong with any quarterback, but you know what I mean. I would probably not put poison in my soup, but I'd still probably take Caleb. I think he's just insanely talented, and I think if he'd have had just hardly any help at USC, and I know how the bowl game went. I think Louisville was way overrated, their opponent in the Holiday Bowl. I don't think they were all that good. And anytime they played a ranked team this year, they really struggled, except Notre Dame. That was their one good game on national TV that made people think they were better than they were. Long story short, I would take Caleb Williams. All right, maybe I'll dive into that more as we get into the draft as it gets closer. I just think his arm talent, his arm strength, his accuracy, and his ability to move, I don't think those things are common. All right. Saturday, Texans, Ravens. Ravens 13-4, Texans, let's see. I did not write down their record, but if I can remember off the top of my head, I believe they're 11-7 because they did not get the bye last weekend. All right, Ravens 9.5-point favorites. The FPI has them at 12.8 favorite. Lamar Jackson, this is a guy who's won an MVP, but has 0 playoff wins. If he loses, let's just say he's got to win. All of his regular season domination through the years and the MVP award that he's won is phenomenal. But I don't want to say it doesn't matter if he doesn't win a playoff game, but people are going to care significantly less if he doesn't win a playoff game. All right, Baker Mayfield went from being on the scout team D-line, okay, a couple years ago. Yes, Coach Rule was there during this time. Okay, to this year, or I guess it was last year, to this year now winning a playoff game in Tampa. Okay, so if Baker Mayfield can do that, Lamar Jackson better win a freaking playoff game, especially after a bye, especially with home field advantage. Here's wide receivers, by the way. All right, you got Hollywood Brown, who's a speedster. You got Odell Beckham Jr. You got Mark Andrews at tight end. You got a defense, and I haven't double-checked this since I talked about this here on the show. There was only like a week left in the season, but they were number 1 in the NFL in sacks, number 1 in turnovers, and at that point in time, they were the first defense to ever do so. I got the Ravens winning, and I got them, I'm going to take them by 10. All right, spread's 9.5, I got them by 10. Green Bay Packers 10-8 taking on the 49ers 12-5. This is a 49ers team that's favored by 9.5 again. Seems to be a popular spread. I mean, they've got Christian McCaffrey at running back. They've got a great defense. This team is a team that should be in the Super Bowl. The question is Brock Purdy, and I know he got banged up last year, which is why they lost to the Eagles, or one of the main reasons they lost to the Eagles in the NFC title game. But when they lost to the Ravens and they lost to the Eagles before the Eagles fell off the cliff earlier this year, Brock Purdy struggled big time in those games. It's going to come down to Brock Purdy and how he plays, because the rest of that team is good enough to be in the Super Bowl and should be. I got the Niners winning. I'm going to go 8. Going to go win by 8. They're not quite going to cover. All right. We got Tampa Bay. All right. Who just beat the brakes off the Eagles. 10-8 versus the Detroit Lions, who are 13-5. Lions are 6.5-point favorites. You probably heard, but the Lions just won their first playoff game in 30 years. If they win this game, they could be in the NFC Championship game. How crazy is that? The Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game. Name me a superstar on that team, by the way. Now, most people can name Jared Goff. I don't know if he's a superstar. Most people can name Aiden Hutchinson, who's a very good player. I don't know that he's a superstar just yet. Probably will be soon. Probably this time next year. And he's definitely an impact player, but a superstar. Okay? Like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Lamar Jackson. Okay, like a Christian McCaffrey. What Dan Campbell's doing with the Lions is awesome. And I've got them winning, and I've got them going to the NFC Championship game. And that's going to be awesome if that's able to come to fruition. I think that'd be a lot of fun to watch. Last game. Bills, favored by 3 over the Chiefs. They just won 31-17 over the Steelers. Chiefs just dominated the Miami Dolphins in Antarctica-type weather, 26-7. To me, this is the most intriguing matchup. All right, now, the Bills beat the Chiefs 20-17 in Kansas City, December 10th, earlier this year. Now, this is Mahomes versus Josh Allen. This is the best quarterback rivalry, I think, going in the league right now. Best team versus team rivalry, I think, going in the league. Okay? If you remember the great divisional round matchup they had a couple years ago, that shootout, which literally changed overtime rules after that game, the Chiefs beat the Bills 42-36. Now, the Bills are a little bit more run-oriented than they have been, okay? The Chiefs actually have one of the better defenses. They have some things on offense. I still think they got some holes there, okay? But they're playing for the 7th time, these two teams, this decade, and it's literally a 3-3 split. All right. This was the toughest game of the entire playoffs so far for me to pick. It's the only one where I didn't have an immediate team that popped into my head that I thought I was going to pick. I've literally gone back and forth. Okay? The Bills are favored. I'm going with the Chiefs. Here's why. Patrick Mahomes makes big plays in big games. Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but he's been very up and down this year. Yes, the Chiefs have holes. The Bills have been up and down. The way they went into Miami and won at the end of the regular season, that impressed me as much as anything, okay? Even more so than beating the Steelers a week ago. I said they'd win by more than 10 points, and they won by 2 touchdowns. I'm going with the Chiefs because of Mahomes in big games, and they have the better defense of the two teams. Now, it's not a strong, confident pick like I've been with some of these other NFL games, but that's what I'm rolling with. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend as it's just getting started. And until next time, I'll see y'all on Monday. Go Big Red Nose. Remember, let's throw the ball.